It's the Jaye and Thomas Podcast, an hour of commentary on today's top stories, current events, or just life in general. And here are your hosts, Jaye and Thomas Darden.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Jaye and Thomas Podcast. Hope you're all doing well out there. This is episode 19, almost hit that infamous 20, and thank you all to our lovely 19 subscribers out there. We love you all and hope your lives are blessed and full of good fortune. So we'll start every day off, or this session off, as we do each one, and ask the man of the hour how he is doing down there in Playas, Ecuador. He's representing, as the cool kids say, today with his Ecuadorian flag. And we're gonna fire it up. So, hey, Dad, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, very well. Pleasant weather here. So it's in the it's been in the 70s.
Right. Yeah, just like every day.
Yeah, just like every day. So huge police presence down here. For some reason, we went into town today, and there was police on every corner. Police here. Every corner, the bike police, there's like 2 or 3 of them riding together at a time. So
oh, wow.
I don't know what's up, but yeah.
I was gonna say they're out to get you, essentially.
Yeah.
So
next time I see one of their armored cars, like a Brinks or a Wells Fargo, I'm going to take a picture of it because it's almost like a military Humvee. I'll have to take a picture. Only it's canary yellow.
Oh, yeah, I like that one, and I like the Pepto-Bismol color one. That's always fun.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, you don't see they're coming, but then again, you're never going to break into one.
Not one of these.
Yeah,
not
they
one of
look
these.
like
It doesn't seem like so.
Just an armored vehicle there. So, all right, well, things in Ecuador, they're pretty steady. They're going pretty good for you. Hopefully, you're able to enjoy that weather down there. It's starting to get a little bit cooler here by just a small margin. We've gone from the 90s down to the 70s pretty quickly, but they're still high 70s. So, what can you do?
Well, that's right. It's September. It ought to be cool. It ought to be cooling
fall,
off up there,
right? Yeah. That's the hope. Is it doesn't stay 90 degrees forever? Now, granted, with global warming that's coming and all that, Tennessee will eventually be beachfront property, but not just yet. So that'll be something cool.
Well, everything is because of climate change, right? It's all because of climate change. It has to do with everything.
Yeah. It's what makes the world go round. One thing that I love mentioning climate change is Ben Shapiro would always have his debates, and he would answer questions and whatnot. And he said, this is something that you can find online. Somebody asked him, okay, well, if there's going to be like a foot of water raised up, right? Well, beachfront properties, several of those are on either beach or what's it called? Like, what's the water level? Where sea level, right? And they're going to go, hey, you're on sea level, right?
Where the tide is.
Right. So if it raises up by a foot, well, a lot of properties are going to be damaged to the point where you can't live in them anymore. And I know that man thinks really quickly, and he thinks, and he's doing a lot of stuff, but he is discussing with a student in one of the universities he used to visit before the pandemic, where they said, so what's going to happen if, X amount of millions of people or whatever are out of homes? And he says, well, you can sell that property. And somebody online says, who are you going to sell it to, Ben? Aquaman? Like, it was just wonderful.
So let's say, for the sake of argument, that all of the water levels around the world rise by let's say 5 feet over the next 100 years, say 10 feet by the next 100 years, and it puts all the low-lying areas on the coast underwater, right? Which, let's say all of that happens. You think that people aren't going to just sell their homes and move?
Just one small problem. Sell their houses to who, Ben? Fucking Aquaman!
Because, of course, he's got to answer way too many questions. And he just gets lambasted all the time with when he goes to those things. But it's a scenario that if you're paying attention and, I mean, you've listened to the show, it's just bang, 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 bang. It's, back to back to back to back stuff. Hilarious was the little retort that the random guy online said about his answers, because you're going to have that all the time if you are recorded in any amount of time, right? Someone's going to come back in many years after we've made it very big and blah blah blah. They're going to say, yeah, those guys are dumb. Did you hear podcast number blah 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 where they look like their heads are in their ass and all that stuff? So it's coming, it's coming.
Probably so.
Well,
Probably
I mean, like time will take us all. That's for dang sure. So,
Yeah,
and
you're right.
to that end, with that being said, one of the topics I wanted to talk to you about today, just to kind of see if you has ever been out there before. Have you ever been a pallbearer?
No.
I know I said that awkwardly. The pallbearer.
No.
I always thought it was spelled the wrong way because I always thought it harkened back to Paul from the Gospels, right? They're
Right.
talking about that. I thought that's what it was. That ain't what it be, right?
Right.
It's actually PALLBEARER, and that's a person helping to carry or officially escorting a coffin to its final resting place, right?
Right.
Something that at least I think is interesting to me, right? Because it's about me. Is I've been a pallbearer 3 times, and I'm 30 something years old. So I mean, it's bound to happen, I guess. But that is interesting to me that you haven't, and I have, several times. Now, to that
Right.
end, it's all based on family and people who are available and kind of like what's going on. But yeah, it's a pretty wild experience, right? Because a lot of faith is put into that person to escort, presumably a loved one, to their final resting place. And it's pretty intense, right?
I bet.
Because,
I bet.
everybody's looking at you, and it's definitely a ritualistic sort of thing. It's very, like, I feel honored doing it, but it's always something where anytime I think about doing something where I could screw up, I automatically
Right.
think about the worst possible way to screw up it instantaneously. Much like with the scooter debacle, right? And I'm like, okay, let's go ride the scooters. And I'm thinking, okay, how can I screw this up maximally and efficiently as possible? And hey, I did that, so it kind of par for the course there. But it's because I had to do that recently. We won't go into it too much, but yeah, that just was something that I thought was kind of wild, is how different of experiences that we've had in life through so many things. And
Right.
yeah, I just want to ask you that question because it's kind of wild, because I guess you either meet some people who have or haven't.
Who calls the steps? Do you have one person that calls the steps, like step or left, right?
So
or
it depends
how does that
on
work?
it depends on
I've
who.
never done it.
Right. It greatly depends on who are the people walking, like who are the pallbearers, because you're gonna have situations where you have guys that are like my side on both sides, and it's not that big of a deal, right? Like we
Right.
can handle everything, and the weight's nothing, and it's fine, and we move on. But you also have times.
You have 6.
Yes, you have 3 on each
Okay.
side.
Okay.
And you 3 on each side, and then you put the lighter people in the middle, and sometimes the directors or the people who are assisting with the service itself, they will assist and say, get in step, bang, bang, left,
Right.
left, just to try to get everybody in order, because that's one thing you really don't want. It's just really bad optics when people look like
Sure.
Newton's cradle there, where they're doop, 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 doop,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're kind of bouncing back and forth and whatnot. But it's it's wild. It's just nothing else, right? I mean, it's something where you won't experience something like it, because I've been a part of weddings, I've been a pallbearer, so many of these things that you could even say almost in the religious sect, right, where a lot of this is centered around Christian beliefs and whatnot. And also you could say that, matrimony isn't just a Christian thing, obviously, but it's kind of wild, because my relationship with whatever you believe is out there, is there, but it's definitely not as strong as it probably should be. But to be a part of these rituals over and over and over, it's pretty interesting, just because it almost feels like it's pulling you back in a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I thought that's kind of interesting, but there are some things that we can share stories that we've both done, and some things that there are not. So fun little segment there.
That's just, and I've been to a lot of funerals.
Right.
I just never, I don't know if I haven't been asked or I just told them no. It could be both. I do not recall.
Well,
so
I'm putting this out there. This can be my living will here, because for whatever reason, I'm surrounded by a lot of individuals who don't want to be buried, right? Which, whatever your beliefs may be, some people want to be put in a wall, some people want to be cremated, what to each their own, and whatever you want. However, I've got it down, okay? Take my organs, give them to science, burn the rest of me down to ash, and then take a little bit of me, not a whole lot, because, there aren't many ashes left, but take a little bit of me, and then you're going to shoot that into space. So.
Okay.
Because you can do it. You can take, I know you've seen a CO2 cartridge, right? They're
sure.
3 inches big or whatever. They take one of those, put it in the rocket, costs like $7 to $10,000. Boom, done. No service, none of that. Just watch the rocket go off, because that'll be the thing to watch for. Because I don't want to be in the ground just for my own reasons, but I can't wait to be spocked, right? And I'll have to try to
The merest fraction of the Genesis potential, should the Federation wish to fund these experiments to their logical conclusion. When we consider the cosmic problems of population and food supply, the usefulness of this process becomes clear. This concludes our proposal. Thank you for your attention.
It literally is Genesis.
Power creation.
clip in or cut into the Genesis program for Star Trek, because when aliens resurrect me, several thousands of light years away from my rocket shooting in space, I get to piss them off too.
Okay.
And I'll be and I'll be able to tell them, hey, you all, screwed up now, because now you got to deal with me. And that's kind of the deal there. So, but it is what it is. I thought that was kind of wild.
It's funny. Last week we talked about. Sometimes I have a memory lapse, and I forget that we talk on Wednesdays. We do this on Wednesday evenings,
right?
And the next time it's going to come out will be the next Tuesday or Wednesday,
right?
So we're basically like a week behind. And so when we started talking about on events, and we started talking about Kabul, Afghanistan, there's so much stuff that's gone on in just a week that by the time the broadcast came out today for the one we did last week, we were so far behind on newsreels and all that kind of stuff. It's like, wow, you guys are did y'all do this like last year or what? So I was looking at it thinking, well, that stuff is old news, the stuff I was talking about. So, I started talking, I was going to talk a little bit about 9/11, but by the time this comes out, it'll be like the 15th.
Right.
And we will have forgotten.
We will what?
We will have forgotten.
Oh, I was like, what?
Because it'll be 4 days past, the recall of 9/11 that we said we would never forget, and we have. So, I just wasn't even. I wasn't gonna. I mean, it's a bad deal, but it's going to be later. It's going to come out 4 days, 5 days later than the actual event. So,
well, do you want to? And of course, I can cut out this us talking about it part. Do you want to talk about it now, and then I release a special episode on Saturday?
No.
All right.
No.
Well, then
No.
we're good.
Because we said we wouldn't forget, and we did. We've forgotten all about it. They recall it once a year. Once a year they recall it and remember it, or recall it once a year, and that's it. They don't think about all the shit that went down since then.
Okay, so
and it's been 20 years.
It has been, right? So
yes, it has. Yes.
Let's think about it like this. Now, understand, like I understand that there are folks who lost loved ones. There are heroes that should be remembered forever, and we have to a degree. Where have you been to New York since that time?
Yes.
Right. So
once, yes.
Well, and my question to that is have you seen the monuments? Have you seen the dedications and everything that have gone out to it?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not.
So,
I haven't been to that part of New York.
Right. Okay. Well, it's something where we can immortalize that. Okay. But to have that, let's say, affect someone like you or myself, we can let it affect us and say, hey, we're going to try to do better. Right. But we all have to understand as well, you're only human.
Right.
All right. So when you say they forgot, well, do you expect somebody to wake up every morning and text you and be like, I remember? Then the next morning, I remember. 20 years? Or is what's happening is people are forgetting because they're not acting as though you think they should if they revered that situation more. Is that really what's kind of going down?
Colonel.
You snotty little bastard.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess.
I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer. You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
Probably.
Okay.
But okay. Never mind. I started to go on a rant, but I won't.
Hey, it's our podcast. You can do whatever the heck you want, man. Go on the ramp. Buckle up.
The idiocy of leaving. This is switching to Afghanistan because they're going to come back and hit us again with all the artillery that we left them. How ignorant was that? But we left them our uniforms and our weapons and our night vision. We used to own the night. Our military owned the night. Other people wouldn't even come out at night to fight because they knew with the sophisticated equipment we had and the training that they didn't stand a chance. They didn't stand a chance at night. Now we've left all the night vision goggles over there. We've left our uniforms. We've left the weapons. So we're not going to know who's who. They're going to be dressed up just like we are and have our weapons. We're not going to know it. Think about it. Okay.
So it's a scenario where I can only get so vehement about, right? Because, okay, that's happened now. Now what? Okay, what do we do?
What are you going to do?
Right, yeah.
Famous saying, what are you going to do?
Hey, Vinny, or whatever the heck the dude's name is.
It was...
Yeah. So what are you going to do?
Left, I don't want to spoil your day.
Come on. Hey, no man of mine's going to be alone on Christmas.
Yeah, it was Donnie.
Donnie. Yeah, there you go. Understand that reference comes from a movie that he nor I have ever seen. It's just a clip from somewhere else, which is Chef's Kiss. It's absolutely fantastic.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, I need to try to cut it in to this. Well, because it's so funny that the situation and how you say it versus how I hear it from Al Pacino saying it. It's not the same context in the slightest, and I love it.
Right.
So throws me for a loop. But it's something that, okay, this has happened, but hold up. Didn't the former commander-in-chief give the order to, okay, if you're moving around over there, stop it. Stay very still. And if it's the mouse over there, then I'm praying for you because that sounds like something is running around back there. That is amazing.
Yes.
Well, so if this is your last podcast, it's been an honor and a pleasure, sir. Because wow, you are living with a chupacabra in there. It is not some rat or something. But didn't the former commander-in-chief give the order to leave?
Did he?
I think he did.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
but now, riddle me this, Batman. Would you be as mad if it was him in charge?
Yes, because Americans were left. We left Americans behind. I don't give a damn who's running the show. Apparently, the Three Stooges are running it right now.
I'll give you asthma.
We left Americans behind.
Well, I've seen many commercials and I've heard from many a folk that you never leave a man behind. So I don't know what the deal is. You know, I just don't know. And I did hear briefly today, since Crowder's back on, I enjoy him more for Dave Landau and their shenanigans, because like the jokes are something that I really hearken to. There are definitely some things now since he's been gone and even earlier where they're like, this is your position. And I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I get it, but you know, just make the funnies, you know?
Right.
Like,
right.
It's like reading the newspaper and going to the funnies. You're not doing it for some political discourse. You're doing it because like, I want to haha for a couple of seconds and forget about all of this shenanigans. Right.
Right.
So
sure.
That's been pretty interesting that he's been back and whatnot, but that's also part of my, you know, what do you call it? Informational scope, right? Where I'm like, okay, this side, you know, and then, okay, let's try to figure everything out. But it's, I don't know. There's a lot of hot button things happening right now, and it's humorous that you say that we're behind. Well, yeah, because we can't, for one, we can't tell the future, right? So a week from now, we have no idea what's going to happen, right? But if you wanted to start doing hey, we need to do it now, and then put it out in a couple days, we can totally do that. That's not a problem.
Well, it's all good.
We're just going to have a slightly faster turnaround time, which I can do. But that is humorous that like it took you 19 episodes to realize that, right? Where,
okay,
you know, we're talking about this, and yeah, 6 days goes by, right?
That's all I have to say about that.
That's all I got to say about that. So, yeah, we can definitely kind of speed the timeline up. People will be like, what's going on? So,
you don't have to. It's
well,
all good.
One of the things that is kind of cool is we can talk about things that don't have timelines, right? Where if you want to be an extension of the message and the news right now,
so to speak,
to a degree, then we gotta change it up a little bit, right? Which we can do. That's really not that big of a deal. But we got to change the formatting, right? Because we got to say, hey, this happened in the past like 4 days. We can talk about it for 2, and then boom, it's out that same week. Versus, okay, we talk about it, a week goes by, all hell breaks loose in weekly cycles. So we're always 3 steps behind, and it's a scenario that, hey, I'm not opposed to speeding it up.
It's all good.
Well, what's humorous is that a lot of the times, if you're not coming out live, or you know your show is out that same day, well, they have editors, right? So we would send this to somebody who's recording as we go, just like we're doing, albeit very jerry-rigged, and then they would edit the second we're done, right? Because they would make the audio and video perfect on the outset, which is we're as close as we can be. I don't have to change the audio up too much when I do this, or the video up too much when I do this, but it's the cut end of the edits and cutting out like the, the breaths and all that stuff, and then get that done. Which, I mean, in all honesty, you could have this out tomorrow, straight up, and be like, okay, but that means another person would have to be involved because, hey, they could do that after the fact, or it would mean, okay, cool, we get done with this, and I'm like, okay, bye, leave me alone, I gotta edit, and then we go, bam, new episode. So doable. It's just going to take a little more coordination. That's all.
It's all good.
So,
just leave it like it is. It's okay.
I ain't leaving nothing, no way, no how. Because if you want to get better in life, you got to keep changing things, right?
That's right.
We got to keep changing it up, keep people guessing. So, when's the episode coming out? You'll never know. Until it comes out.
I don't know until you send me the thing that goes, hey, the episode.
Well, I mean, normally it's on Tuesdays. Some days it's later in the day on Tuesday, and then some days it's actually on Tuesday. But I mean,
you stay out later. You stay up later than I do, so sometimes it's Tuesday night.
Right.
Most
Definitely. Yeah. Like there are some times when I can work on it on a Sunday or a Monday, have it scheduled for like 5:00 on Tuesday, then bang, it comes out on a schedule. It gets released to everybody at the same time. You get a notification, and then boom, it's there. And then there are some Tuesdays where homeboy's like, we're gonna be editing this evening, and then we're gonna do it to it and release it at like 11:00, and then bang, it comes out. But then everyone's got to catch up, right? They got to get the notifications and yada yada. And I'm positive people love getting my text at like 10:30 or 11 at night saying, hey, we got a new podcast episode out.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's super fun, I'm sure. But, yeah, that was something
that's okay with me.
Kind of wild. Well, yeah, because your phone's probably off. So, I know you're not a gigantic sports guy, but have you ever done fantasy leagues of any sort?
I have not.
So, I've just been living life. I don't know what you're doing, but I've been doing every different thing I can possibly can. And I was just a part of my. I say my like I own any part of it whatsoever. I was a part of my first fantasy football league, which I got a score of a C- when all my picks were done. Even though I had a dead ringer with me who was basically doing all my picks for me. Well, there's a method to their madness, and we'll definitely see how the season turns out. But that was very interesting. And now, of course, it's to such a degree where, like, you're on an app. Everyone can be 1,000 miles away from each other. It's automated. You can actually set it to where you just auto draft the best picks as you go and never even look at it, like not be a part of it. This is for football, American football, for anyone out there who's watching. So, when you get on the Yahoo Sports app, you pick your wide receivers, your running backs, your tight ends, your quarterbacks, your defense, your kickers, and all that. That's pretty cool. With like I was mentioning, with all the technology they have behind it, you get stats on the fly. There's no whiteboards with all the little buttons and stuff that they would have, like little Maddens and everything that you would say, okay, this person picks here and blah, blah, blah. You just go, and it's pretty cool. I've got Tanner helping me, Greg's eldest boy, which I can't wait because I'm just looking to take down a couple of buddies from work. It took me 9 years to get into this league, and they're scratching the bottom of the barrel when they're asking me to participate in sports things. But I can't wait just to win a few. Like, just give me a few wins, and then I'll be good to go. So. But
they had, speaking of sport, they had several wins this Saturday. I was watching a podcast yesterday, and they had cut in some of ESPN's college football stadium from the weekend. Have you seen any of those?
I've seen where they're packed in there like sardines. and they are
Yes.
saying this is the super spreader event of the century.
Oh no, they're saying up yours. We're going to live life normally now. But what I thought was funny that would relate to you and I is up in Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
They play House of Pain. They play the House of Pain. They play that song Jump, like between the third and fourth quarter, and there's like 70,000 people jumping up and down to this song.
That is wonderful.
I mean,
House of Pain. I'm not familiar with that.
The song, and talked about the music and how I'm not sure exactly what time part of the game.
Okay. You're saying they play Jump. It's like jump around, jump up, jump up, get down. Right.
Everybody in the stadium, all the red and white, because that's their colors, were going up and down.
Right.
It was crazy. 50, 60, 70,000 people. Then they showed Virginia Tech Stadium, where there was 60,000 people there. And then they showed somewhere else, Texas A&M, where there was 50 or 60, 70,000 people there. And they're just going on with life.
Yeah.
COVID's here. You're not going to get rid of it. So go on and live life. Live your life. Don't be stupid, but live your life.
Hold up. Don't be stupid versus, I'm going to hug and kiss on this guy who's this stranger that my team just scored. I need to embrace this person. The same person who you get mad at for they're my enemy out in the parking lot because I took the better spot than them, versus the people who like want to hug you and give you a high five and kiss you when you're on the same team in the stadium. I love it to death.
Well, my internet went down. That's why I stopped talking, because when I mean don't be stupid, you don't have to slobber on each other or whatever. Don't hang around sick people or whatever is what I mean by that. I mean, but there wasn't anybody with a mask on. So,
right. They're like, whatever, man. That was something that, have you known anybody personally in the near or in the recent past that might have been ill and actually still went and did whatever activity it was that they were going to do? Might have felt ill, but they still went to an event that you're aware of?
I don't know.
Okay, so you're just not aware of it. If it has happened, that's fair.
When I don't feel good, I don't go places.
Okay.
Well, that's rare, but
that you go places or that you don't feel good?
Both.
Nice.
Both.
Okay. Well, makes that easier, I guess.
Yeah. It does.
I thought that's that's kind of interesting, because I know folks who will 100% not be feeling great, yet will still do the function because they don't want to lose out on the opportunity to get out and about. Which, now granted, you do you. Do whatever you got to do. But the potential for spreading the proverbial love, and in this case, spreading love is a potential disease. It seemed a little bit precarious to me, but what can you do?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right. Oh, you're right. You're right. But the beauty of being retired, you can go where the hell you want to, and you don't have to care if anybody likes it or not.
Well, luckily, not all of us are retired, and we still have to make, the proverbial bread for our retired brethren that we were more than happy to do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it sucks being used.
Well, that's it. Tell us how you really feel there, sir.
How about them apples?
Well, it's humorous when you talk about the House of Pain jump around song, like the jump around, like that band has no business being called House of Pain, but it's in the early 90s when stuff didn't make a whole lot of sense, but it didn't matter because the internet wasn't really prevalent at that point in time. So there was nobody to tell them, your band name doesn't go with what you do. I just, I'm going to put that on my blog, and then people are going to read it and pay me money to blog. And it's like,
you're right.
I ain't mad at you. I mean, I am very mad at House of Pain because that doesn't make any sense. But yeah, it's all good. So,
but amazing to me. I was watching. I don't know if it was Live Aid or Farm Aid back from like I guess the 90s. And I was watching Queen, and they were doing radio.
that's Live Aid.
And you're playing a song and they're jumping, you got 50,000 people jumping up and down in the stadium.
Right.
What happened to the good old days where we all jumped around together and we all had a good time and we weren't, so scared of everything, or we weren't controlled by the nonsense or whatever I'm trying to say.
Well, I think, of course, I can't ever hold up my cell phone because I'm utilizing it as a camera. But that's one of the reasons why, a lot of information is getting to you because we have the world at our fingertips, right? And we have more information literally spewed at us, thrown at us than we've ever had before. So it's a scenario that you're going to listen to whatever you want to listen to and you're going to feel however you want to feel. But understand this, you're being manipulated very subtly in some cases and very obtusely in others, where you're just getting a lot of info and people can control you. Like people are allowing others to be controlled based on whatever information they are accepting as fact and being given. There's something that have you actually watched The Social Dilemma? I think it's on Netflix.
Mm-mm.
You should give that a watch because it's on Netflix, so I know you can watch it. Watch it straight up, and you're good to go. No muss or fuss or whatever. And one of the things on the previews that it had was just awesome to me, where in a Google search, if you search up a particular thing, whatever it is you're looking up, you're going to get different answers based on your location. Now, what I mean by that is it's going to say like, what is a protest or something to that effect, right? Or what is insurrection? Where let's say you're in a predominantly more conservative place and you think that, what happened on earlier this year was a valid protest and blah, blah, blah. Well, then you wouldn't see it as an insurrection. You would see it as a protest. And just like in the other case, you would see the protest that happened in places like Portland, Oregon, and Seattle and stuff like that as legit protest and not riots, as other like outlets would have told you that they were. So people are forming and shaping you, even you, and all our watchers and listeners out there, more than you could possibly imagine. Because you said, what happened to the good old days? They died. Okay, so get over it. It's over. Now,
I wish if they were shaping me, they would put me in better shape.
But they're not, because you are easier to control the way that you are.
Is there going to be crickets coming in like right there?
Hey, they can be, man. I can cut in whatever you want to. But understand this. It's easier to control you the way that you are now. Okay? Because let's say you aren't telling me your plan, but you're telling me how your lifestyle is going to change. Okay? And you start working out and you start reading more and blah, blah, blah. Well, you get more educated, you get more fit, your mind gets more fit and yada, yada. And you stop listening to the propaganda that's out there from one side or the other. And you just stop listening to it. And then you're harder to control because you're not on your phone as much. You're not on YouTube as much or social media as much and yada, yada. And then, oh, look, you're actually like doing whatever it is you want and being controlled less because they don't have as many outlets to interact with you, right? Where right now, you're on your iPad at least once a day. You're on your phone at least once a day. You're on YouTube or Facebook or whatever X amount of times a day. And then bam, they got you. And it's so subtle that you would never think anything's happening or anything's changing or anything's different. But think about this for a second. I had this thought this past week. I don't remember when you were ever this politically motivated. Ever. You know, you were always working too much.
Yeah.
And so, but that's the thing. You didn't have time to deal with that sort of thing. So now that you have a little more time, but you also have more outlets, iPad, phone, television, blah, blah, blah. It's there. And you are eating from the trough like we all are, right? Like everyone is just taking in that information, whether it be good, bad, ugly, whatever. And then now, bang, you're upset at something that 10, 15, 20 years ago, you wouldn't have cared about.
Right. Okay.
And that's all that subtle change. And that's that fear. It's
that makes a good point though, because your Uncle Bob and I were talking and he said he quit watching the news at all. I mean,
smart.
At all.
Yeah, I get it.
And I thought, well, okay, because I'll ask him, did you know this was going on or that was going on? No. And, it makes sense. So, I mean, I'm not addicted to my phone. I check it in the mornings, to see if there's any family news, but I don't take it with me when I leave the house. I don't ever carry it with me when I leave the house and go anywhere. So,
well, one of the reasons
I'm not really addicted to it, but you're right. You're exactly right. That makes a lot of sense.
Well, one of the reasons you don't take your phone around is because you don't have internet. Okay, like you can't actually use it when you go places. So yeah, of course you leave it at home. Now
you don't have to, be mean to me like that.
I'm up here now. You can't do that to me.
Yeah. You're not right here.
That's it. So, but
you be careful.
This will be amazing. No. Like, give me some cognition here. When you have access to your phone, okay, like legit, you have internet down there that's 3G, but it's still better than nothing. You can call or text or like message me or whomever else on WhatsApp or whatever. See if you start taking it places. Like try, and of course I'll ask next week, hey, did you get the phone to start working? And if it did, then I'll wait a week and say, hey, have you just start taking your phone places? Because I would bet a significant amount of money that you start taking it places because you'll have access to it and it'll actually do what it normally does. And then you'll say, okay, cool.
Okay.
Because I'm telling you, man, like there are days I wake up and my phone's in my hand and I'm making the bed and I'm like, oh, I gotta set the phone down. It's wild, like how much they programmed you to keep it with you always. Like keep the thing that's manipulating you with you all the time so it can continue to manipulate you.
I catch a lot of I will say flack, but I catch a lot of people are when they, not a lot, but a couple of people that try to get a hold of me and I don't have it with me. And
right.
I tried to call you twice and you didn't answer. Okay. What do you want? I mean, and there are people from down here. It's not anybody from up there. People down here. And it's like, well, what do you want? I don't take it when I get on the scooter because I'm afraid it'll fall out of my pocket. And I don't put it in storage under the seat or any of that because it's just under the seat. And I'm not going to pull it out from under the seat anyway. So I just leave it here. And I don't take pictures with it when I go places because I'm not that kind of guy either. So, and you didn't answer. You're right. I didn't.
You right. And I ain't.
Yeah. Because, I've had one in my hand for the last so many years and I don't have to carry it now. I don't have to. So, yeah. And even when I was in the States, I cut it off at night. When I drove a truck, I'd be 700 miles away. I couldn't do anything for you if you called me in the middle of the night. I couldn't do anything for anybody. I'm 700 miles away, man.
Jocko ain't got nothing for you.
I know. Jocko's pissed off too, buddy.
I have no doubt. Something that was
real mad.
Something that was interesting to me, one of my buddies utilized his kind of motivational speeches and talks and books and everything.
Right.
And he did like a complete 180 on Jocko, because he utilized it to get a new position that he wanted. And I think it did help him some amount. Like, it wasn't all of it, but I thought he was at least going in the right direction.
Right.
Because I gave him this spiel. He would interact with me and just bitch about his job. And there was one day when I just simply told him, I was like, man, it must be real nice to have a job you can just bitch about. Like, and it's about petty little things that don't matter in the slightest. And then he turns a 180 there, and it's like, oh, you're right. And then he got
Jocko has a segment called "When It Sucks."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
That's
and
right.
So to that end, he started reading his books, listening to them and stuff, and then bam, he got the position he wanted. He got the promotion. Like, he pushed through it and he worked really hard. Well, then you have the incident in with Mr. Floyd and that debacle. And Jocko didn't have the exact right breakdown of that when that first came out, because, you know, that was a super hot topic and blah, 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 blah. And then so, you know, my buddy just stopped listening to him straight up because of one instance where they're like, hey, man.
Guy's not perfect.
Correct. And that is something where we're having to do, I think, a lot more nowadays, is we are having to separate the art from the artist, if that makes sense, right? Where you had...
Are we fact checking?
I mean, not necessarily, because the point is, if you like this music by this person, but they're a shitty person, but the music is fire, as the kids would say, and that's not even as hip as I should be. It slaps, whatever you want to call it.
I was going to say, you're way behind, dog.
I am. I'm so behind. But you like their music. Are you going to stop listening to them because of that? Is that the nail in the proverbial coffin there? Like, you're listening to it on iTunes Music or on Spotify. You're not paying them any money directly.
Right.
So who cares?
Right.
Like, or somebody's in a movie or something that, like, a perfect example is this. Let me double check, make sure I'm talking about the right person. Oh, oh my goodness, look how big the kitty is. Oh, yes. Wow, that cat's much bigger than when I left. Yeah. Holy smokes, man.
Ain't missing no meals.
Well, yeah, because
I'm missing no meals.
I put in the last podcast, I don't know if you saw, where it's like, can you hear
I did. I started laughing. When
the kitties, asking for their dinner or whatever. That's awesome. That's our new co-host right there.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
love it.
Making a guest appearance.
That's wonderful. So Kevin Spacey, right?
Right.
He did whatever he did. Okay. I don't know what he did. There was a big blow up, and then boom, this guy sucks. And I'm like, oh. That doesn't mean I'm not going to watch, like, House of Cards, or I'm not going to watch American Beauty, stuff like that. Right. Where it's not as though I'm like, I'm never watching anything he's a part of ever again. Because sometimes you'll have folks or scenarios where supposedly, like, I know you know who Johnny Depp is, right? Well, sure. his either ex-wife, ex-girlfriend, whatever, stated that, he beat her. Well, come to find out much later, supposedly, because that's the thing, you don't even know what's real anymore, right?
Right.
Supposedly, come to find out much later, after Paul Bettany defended him and stuff like that, and people were all like, cancel Captain Jack Sparrow. Well, come to find out, it seems as though now that was all actually reversed, and the girlfriend at that time, Amber Heard, I believe I'm getting her name correctly, she was the perpetrator, right? Like, she was the abusive one. And it's just absolutely crazy what we'll do, because that dude is, like, blacklisted in Hollywood now. Now, are people looking for an excuse to nix people, right? Like take them out. Who knows?
I don't know.
Right?
Could be.
It's incredible to me where people are like, I don't like that person, so all of their stuff is garbage and I can't support them anymore. Where it's like, you're not even really supporting them initially to begin with. You know, like,
Right.
okay, if you go out of your way to like this and like that and blah, blah, blah. Well, okay, well, there's argument for that. But I mean, everybody's human. Everybody.
Right.
So if you like their old stuff and whatever, then move on.
Right. You're right.
Kind of wild.
You're right.
There was one more thing. I can't see it on my phone. Do you remember what the third point of contention was?
I'm sorry. I didn't write them down.
That's all good. Oh, actually, no. I know what's going down. I have my WhatsApp on my computer here. Oh, yeah. That's something that was pretty cool. Not that it means anything to you in the slightest, but to people still living in America, at least around these parts, MARTA's going away in January.
You think?
Well, no, that's what I've heard, like straight up.
That's the lie they're telling you, right?
I guess, I don't know.
That's good. Good.
I've heard that from word of mouth, and I thought that's wonderful. But what are they going to do with the people who work in MARTA?
I don't know.
Mm.
Yeah. Mm.
I think Davidson County is still keeping it, but all the surrounding counties are like, no, we're good. So
Right.
I thought that was kind of interesting.
It is interesting.
Well, especially in Tennessee, where the counties are almost like little separate states based on what they do, how they're spending their money, and the municipalities and the powers that be and yada, yada. It's wild, because
Right.
you'll have Davidson County be like the stronghold of air quotes, the liberal thought. And then you'll have where the banjos play on the outside ring of that. And, not as liberal out there. I'll tell you that for sure. So
You're right. You're exactly right.
but yeah, man, MARTA going away. I thought that was like just something, where we don't have to worry about that anymore. It's just,
That'd be nice.
boom, there
Just
you
to
go.
go in to get your tags and move on.
Right. And I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. So yeah, you just bam, tags, roll on. And I mean, there have been, I think, at least like a year and a half, right, when the pandemic thing first came about, where they're like, okay, no MARTA, no, none of that. Just if you want your tags, order them online and we'll send them to you. Well, that's really all you got to do now.
Right.
Hardly
Right.
anything has to be done in person, but other than interviews with the government for licenses or global entry and all that stuff, I have talked to customs face to face more times I have this year than I ever will in the rest of my existence. So that's been wild. So global entry, customs broker, CCS certified, just ready to go, man. Let's go and move some freight and mess around. So
Rock and roll. There you go.
yeah, dude. It's
Somebody
nuts.
else is going to be in customs come Friday.
Yeah, there you go, man.
Yeah.
Very
She's leaving
cool.
tomorrow to go stay at a hotel right beside the airport
Gotcha.
because it's like an 8:00 flight. So she's going to go stay at a hotel that's got a shuttle, and then she can bounce over to the airport and she can sleep later, because us being almost 100 miles away from the airport.
Kilometers.
I said, man,
Kilometers.
yeah, there's no, yeah, excuse me, I'm sorry. Why would you stay here and get up at 2:00 in the freaking morning, and try to get over to the airport? So just go stay over there and get up the next morning and go over.
Well, I know that my lovely sister watches these, so just be prepared, boo, because I'm gonna be in first class and you're gonna be in luggage, in the back there. So I'll wave to you from our.
Well, she did upgrade on the way back on the flight from Nashville to Miami and Miami to Guayaquil.
Right,
She upgraded too. something better. I don't know what it was. I didn't ask.
Honestly, I was amazed that there was not like an empty first class seat on that flight going back from Guayaquil to Miami. None. There wasn't an empty seat up in
Really?
first class. Yeah.
Wow.
I thought that was kind of cool. So, but
I think she said she got the next to the last seat coming back.
Yeah.
She got the next to the last one in business or first class. I don't remember which it was, but yeah. If you're going to go all the way, right?
I love it. Hey man, there ain't nothing better because watch out for your cat chewing on your cord. Don't let the cat chew through the cord there. Because you'll be speaking Ebonics, and
this one's a biter.
So well,
he likes.
Yeah,
he likes. She likes to bite on stuff. She likes to bite stuff. So
well, like children, that's how they figure out what things are and stuff. So
right, that's right.
You need to tell them to get on it because if they don't move quick enough, they might be victims to Splinter down there. The guy who taught them
Willard.
The Ninja Turtles down there. So
yeah, exactly.
That's it. But yeah, that's pretty wild. However, but yeah, Marta going away should be pretty cool. And then we're gonna try to come down there in March. My sister and I. So and I believe her significant other. That should be super exciting.
Right.
And I don't think you'll know what to do with us all if we're all down there at the same time. We'll.
We'll. Same thing you and I did.
Just chilling in the gazebo. That's
sit
it, man.
in the gazebo and just chill, man.
That's it. Well, it's all good.
Look, you're getting annoying now. So
the cat's like, hey, what's the deal? So kind of cool. Something that I need to forward to you on YouTube and that everyone else here should kind of take a peek into. It's called Economics Explained, and it is Japan, the Fading Economy. And of course, it has on there Land of the Rising Dead, which I thought was kind of cool. Because we talked about last week and a few weeks before that about the 100-year marathon, right, with China. And this I thought was kind of interesting because I haven't looked into it yet. It's just the premise of it seems pretty cool. And it's like 10 minutes. It's not that big of a deal. Where if Japan has a messed up economy, then, could they be overtaken by the Chinese?
Sure. Sure.
Because they're just a hop, skip, and a jump away, man. That's one thing I thought was interesting that you were talking about the cabal thing in Afghanistan and whatnot. Is I've heard that they're going to have China go in and fix the problem, or you might have Russia go in and fix the problem. Well, if that's going on, are they going to become allies? Are they going to actually take care of the issue, or what? Like what's going to happen?
Russians been there before. And they fought them off for years. But, people have been trying to mess with Afghanistan for years. And fighting is their way of life. We call it war, and they call it life.
Oh, wow.
They've been fighting in Afghanistan for thousands of years. Hundreds of years, however you want to say it. Hundreds of years they've been fighting people. And that's just life. We call it war and they call it life. So that's the difference, I think. So,
well, then
we'll see,
Something that I'll have to talk about next time is I'm going to go to the Royal Range this Saturday.
Okay.
And you can rent a belt-fed, fully automatic weapon.
Okay.
The guy I'm going with, a buddy of mine who was in the infantry in the Army, and he used to carry around the M249, a big machine gun, the big saw or whatever. And I love it because he said that when he starts going, and of course, we're expecting to stand up and shoot and yada yada, like downrange and everything. He says,
I doubt that.
Well, no. We won't be standing when it's the belt fed or whatever. But when he gets his fully automatic, like a rifle or an M16 or whatever they have there that's fully auto, that you can stand up with, he said we're gonna have to watch out because he's gonna bounce off the table because he'll be a very, very happy man when he gets to fire these weapons. And because he hasn't done it supposedly since he's been in the Army. It's been years. So really, really looking forward to that. My buddy, one of them's gonna go down there with his Glock. He's got a 45. He's gonna go down there with his Glock. Take that for a spin, and then at the Royal Range they have like, I don't know, 30 or something lanes where it goes from rifles to handguns. You can even do simulations, which is pretty cool. Because I would I'm gonna take the 9mm Smith & Wesson down there that you left here. I'm gonna take that, and we're gonna take the AR-15 and just have a ball, as they say.
Okay.
An expensive ball, but we're gonna have
I bet.
So it'd be pretty cool. And you can rent all sorts of stuff down there. You can even rent like a Barrett 50 cal if you wanted to. You know,
Holy smokes.
even though it's like $1.25 per round, like that'd be kind of cool. You know,
Yeah, but what are you gonna do? You gonna shoot somebody in Memphis with that thing from here, or what?
that's the hope.
maybe.
That's the hope. Like just aim that way and aim up a little bit more, and you'll be good to go. So that'd be cool. Well, we've hit our illustrious hour mark. Is there anything else that you would like to talk about, good sir?
I'm good. I'm very good.
Well, we certainly appreciate your time and attention. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button.
Smash that like button.
Smash the bell.
Tickle the bell. Do a
like
finger,
and
whatever you want.
If
If
we
it's a
bust
bell.
20, it'll be the
Oh my
20th
goodness.
episode with 20 subscribers. Oh my gosh.
Could you imagine? Well, one thing that is very endearing and very warm to my soul, and I'm assuming yours as well, if you ever go to our dashboard, it'll say how many new subscribers in the past X amount of days. It's always been at least 3 subscribers every 30 days. So, hey, you know, hey, slowly but surely, right? We're the
That's right.
proverbial little engine that could, or the little guys that talk. So that's
the
that's
hare
what
and
it
the
is.
tortoise. Yeah, the
Yes,
tortoise.
yes,
We're the
indeed.
tortoise.
Well, hey, we might be the hare and the tortoise, but they live for like 200 years. So we're coming at you.
That's right.
I can see us getting to 1,000 subscribers when I'm on my deathbed. Be like, we made it, Dad. You know, it's gonna be wild. So yeah, that's it.
Flatlines.
Yeah, I'm like live from the deathbed. Love you all. Smash the like button. So that's it, man. Awesome. Well, thank you all so much again. Love you all. Thank you very much to our 19 subscribers, and keep watching. Let us know in the comments below if you have a topic that you would like to talk about, or if you'd like to be a guest on the podcast. And we'll catch you next time.
See you.